Hello students, this is Miss Turner, your instructor for this class. I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about how to create a good news message. This is your first assignment. And so good news messages, we are conveying pleasant information, and we're going to use something called a deductive sequence. The best way to remember that is deductive means direct. So deductive means direct, which means we're going to get directly to the point, and the message will begin with the main idea followed by supporting details. So in your message, since this is a letter to congratulate, the first thing you should say is, hopefully you just thought, congratulations. So let's look specifically about what your paper should include, what your message should include. First is going to be your subject. If this is an email or a memo, your subject has to be stated in a way that will make or encourage the receiver to open the message right away, but it shouldn't necessarily completely give away the good news. So for this letter, congratulations is an okay subject, but you're not telling me congratulations for what. So I may or may not open that email depending on what I think the message is going to be. So it should be fairly specific enough to make me open the email. And then the opening sentence should state the good news. For these particular assignment, it can be a one-sentence paragraph. So, congratulations on whatever the news is, whomever it might be directed to. Then your second paragraph is going to be the body, and it's going to provide details, necessary explanations. So, for example, if you were being congratulated on winning a sales contest, it might include what your sales were, how much they have improved over last year. If there were a second or third place winner, it might include that information as well. What you might have won if there was a monetary award or something like that. You need to be specific about those things, about dollar amounts and things like that, but you have to be careful not to include any unnecessary information. So here's the key. As you work for this company that you've been assigned, I have given you a lot of information. This is information that a manager would know about. However, managers know a lot of things that they don't necessarily share with their employees. So in your assignment, I have given you information that you don't need to put in this email. The purpose of this email is congratulations, and then some details about how or why you're being congratulated. So maybe I told you something like, we don't know where the venue is going to be. Or maybe I told you about the name of somebody who scored really poorly in their sales this year. Well, those kinds of things don't belong in this email. Okay? So make sure that you do not include those things. So there will be information in your instructions that you do not include. Okay? This last part, the third paragraph, is something called a goodwill closing. And it is supposed to remind the receiver of the good news. So, congratulations again. And it should have some future-oriented closing. Now, you want to avoid saying things like, please contact me if you have any questions. We really don't want to do that. It can be one or two sentences, and what you really want to include in this, especially for assignment 1, especially because you're congratulating your team or a member of your team, is really kind of a rah-rah statement about the company, about what a great team this is to work on or to work with, about how keep up the good work in satisfying our customers, or whatever the message might be. So this is a really good place for a sentence of, yay, we're the best team, this is a great company. And again, in your assignment, I've given you a bit of a background about the company that you can use for this if you would like to. You do have to have a closing, which is sincerely, thank you, regards. Even though this is an email, you will still have this closing and your signature. So it should be your actual name, and then your title, which is whatever I've given you in the assignment. Most of the time it's manager, or it might be assistant manager. The last thing that I want to talk about is this idea of a you attitude, Y-O-U. And this means the focus of a good news message is on the reader. Okay? So let's look at these two sentences. This is also your discussion question, so it should you should have some practice from that. But let's look at this first sentence, and this is something that people would typically write. On behalf of the company, I want to congratulate you on your recent promotion to sales manager. Now, first of all, let's look at this sentence. On behalf of the company. Well, you're a manager at that company. Who else are you going to be speaking on behalf of? So we're going to say that is a completely unnecessary phrase. Completely unnecessary. So we just mark right through that. Now let's start with the second part. I want to congratulate you. Well, because you start that sentence with the word I, it becomes about me, myself, I. Not about the person who's being congratulated. So that's what we call an I attitude, not a you attitude. So I want to congratulate you. Obviously you do, because you're writing this letter to me, or this email. So a much better sentence, congratulations on your promotion to sales manager. That becomes all about the person who's reading the message. You should be able to find all of these slides that I've been showing you in your slideshows in chapters 3, 4, and 5. So please be sure that you revise your sentences. What you want to do is look at each sentence one by one outside of the context and say, how can I make this sentence better? How can I not begin a sentence with I? How can I not even use I or the company name or we in this sentence at all, and make this message all about the reader? Alright, so good luck, and message me if you have any questions.